There's a lot to go over. That terrible result in that one Georgia race where all three of those local board members were kicked out for the first time ever. Was it an energy thing? I don't know what it was, but Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about it. Steve Bannon was talking about it. So signs of trouble in Georgia. There's a lot to go over. Carl, you start.
The counter-revolution has begun, Megyn. It's hard for us to figure out what the real moral of the story is for the Democratic Party. Abigail Spanberger is the generic Democrat. She always votes Democratic. She doesn't go off and talk about dismantling capitalism, but she won't. She's with the Democrats on transgender athletes, and she won't even call for convicted sex offenders to be 58-year-old convicted sex offenders to be removed from little girls' locker rooms in public pools in Fairfax County and Arlington County, and she won. And Mamdani, who fashions himself, he's kind of a revolutionary. There's a lot of, he's never done anything. It's like a theater kid pretending to be Che Guevara, but he wins big. So the Democrats are going to have to, the Speaker of the House told us that Mamdani is the face of the Democratic Party. We're not so sure that's true, but the constant.
Well, that's what the Republicans are hoping.
That's right. But the constant was, the Democrats won. The variable was which kind of Democrat, and all of them ran against Donald Trump, down to, city council members and stuff.
Yeah, the answer is all of them.
Right.
So look, I know, and I see Republican spinners online, and they're smart, trying to say, this is not your grandfather's Republican Party. This party is as radical as it comes. Mamdani is going to be hung around like an albatross on every Democratic candidate running in 2026. I get all that. That's smart politics. But realistically, every Democrat won. The moderate ones, the radical ones, they all won. And not only won, they crushed. They outperformed the margins. They outperformed the polls. The races that were supposed to be tight weren't. They ran away with it. You tell me, Tom Bevan, why?
Well, because, as Carl mentioned, so Donald Trump is a turnout machine, right? We know that. And when he's on the ballot, MAGA turns out, Democrats turn out, and you have these really close elections, which we've seen in 2016, 2020, and 24. Okay? But when Donald Trump is not on the ballot, right, Democrats still run as if he's on the ballot. I mean, you look at these exit poll numbers. I mean, all these Democrats, they were angry. They were pissed off at Donald Trump. And they all came out in huge numbers for Democrats. But on the other side, Republicans didn't. I mean, Jack Ciattarelli got 122,000 more votes this year than he got 4 years ago. But he was overwhelmed by the fact that Mikey Sherrill got 400,000 more votes than Phil Murphy got. She got 400,000 less votes than Kamala Harris just got last year in a presidential race. So you had sort of a double whammy. Democrats still operating as if Trump is on the ballot, and Republicans, not getting all of those disaffected voters that Trump brings into the process. And look, this happened in the midterms in 2018, 2022. I mean, this is a constant problem for not just Trump, but other presidents as well, to try and, but I think it's more acute with Trump because he is the movement. He is the man. He is what
he's larger than life.
He's larger than life, and people love him. And so as a result, what we thought was going to be a close race in New Jersey turned out to be, just a landslide.
Crushed. Mikey Sherrill crushed Jack Ciattarelli, as did Abigail Spanberger, who crushed Winsome Sears. I mean, it was just up and down the ballot. Here's Trump, Andrew. It's SOT 2. Take a listen.
And last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot.
Okay, and then he went on to say, I wasn't on the ballot. Like, that's the thing. Like, number one, the shutdown played a role. And number two, I wasn't on the ballot. Now, is it, somewhat narcissistic? Yes. Is it true? Yes. Yes. We've talked many times on the program about how Trump made it kind of cool. And I used to joke, to be a Republican again? No, like ever. He made it cool to be a Republican. But it's just him. No one else is making it cool to be a Republican. No one felt inspired. I mean, literally no one, by Winsome Sears. And Obviously, Curtis Lewa was a non-factor. The Republican Party is not strong, Andrew. It's not.
Yeah, well, good point. Although, he also wasn't that involved in this election. I mean, he didn't sort of appear with either.
Well, that's because these candidates kept him at arm's length, right? Like Cettarelli and Winsome Sears. Cettarelli, I think, was closer to Trump than Winsome Sears, but she'd been dumping on him, and some of Trump's most ardent supporters had been pointing that out. She dumped on him in 24 and in 22 loudly. So no wonder he didn't want to put his arms around her and give her the big embrace. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say. So I mean, we really didn't run the experiment because he wasn't out there at all. So we don't know what would have happened if he had been more involved. Although I would imagine that would have ended up about the same. I will say this. I mean, I think that Gavin Newsom is the big winner of the night because
why?
Because
he's getting 5 more seats out of California. Now you're going to have districts that are entirely Republican with Democrat representatives because they passed this constitutional amendment in California that allows him to redistrict it where he wasn't allowed to before. And California and the Dems are going to get 5 new House seats out of this. Keep going.
But what he really got out of it was he emerged as the guy who really has stood up to the president in terms of national politics at this point. He had all these other Democrats coming into his state to help him get this done. And he got it done. We went back. If you look at the polls before when they announced Prop 50, it was not a popular initiative and ended up killing it. And something like 80% of the people in the exit polls, at least according to NBC, said they voted for it not because it was good for California, but because it stopped Trump. So,
well, once again, but California is almost 40% Republican. So where were they? Why didn't they turn out to try to stop it?
Well, Carl might be able to speak to that.
Well, I'm out here in California.
Those are your people, Carl.
There were no ads. There was no leader. There's no real leader of the Republican Party in this state. They trotted out people like Kevin McCarthy, who never ran statewide and was deposed by his own conference, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I got some pushback from Andy, but you had a whole generation of voters here in California who don't really remember Schwarzenegger.
I was remember to push back on that, Carl.
What? You did? Tom did? I'm sorry, Megyn. It was Tom. The Terminator.
Schwarzenegger is also anti-Trump. So it's like they're assuming about these California voters that they're anti-Trump, and I'm here to tell you they're not. I know a lot of these people. They're listening to this show right now. We have a ton of fans out there. They are not anti-Trump Republicans, but they're treated by people like Schwarzenegger like they are. Like he's still the god of their party, and he's not.
Well, the point was that they were vastly outspent. All the energy here was on. And, Gavin Newsom said this morning, it was a 100-day sprint or something, whatever. It was a 120-day sprint. He sprung this on people so fast, you almost didn't have time to absorb what was going on. There are 5.7 million registered Republicans in California and another couple of million who vote Republican, as you pointed out, Megyn. Now they're going to have 4 or 5 congressional representatives. I mean, the neighboring state of Arizona has 1.5 million registered Republicans, and they have 4 or 5 Republican congressmen. So what Newsom did and what the California electorate went along with was disenfranchising millions of people, basically not giving them any representation in Washington and claiming they're doing this under the guise of saving democracy. It was brazen, it was cynical, and it worked.
I mean, it was a direct response to what happened in Texas with the redistricting there, which was it was based on race, and they tried to rectify it, but it looked nakedly political, yada, yada, yada. It resulted in more Republican seats. Then Gavin Newsom said, I'll do this. We're having the same problem right now on the filibuster, where you remember what happened when Harry Reid was the Senate Majority Leader. He took away the filibuster for lower court judges so that they could get President Obama's judges confirmed. And Mitch McConnell, who was the minority leader, said, you will rue the day. And then the Republicans took control under Trump, and they got rid of the filibuster for Supreme Court judges. And that is how Trump got 3 of his confirmed, 3 seats on the U.S. Supreme Court, something the Democrats still rue. And notwithstanding all of that, President Trump right now is calling for the elimination of the filibuster as a legislative proposition in the U.S. Senate, which would be a watershed moment for America. Count me against it. You need minority rights in the Senate. That is a just a dangerous move we do not want to take. It's so short-sighted. I understand his frustration completely. Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation, it's reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you're missing the boat. Here are the facts. The US dollar, still too weak. The government debt, still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. You don't pay a dime out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation, just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and gold has historically been a safe haven. So text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. MK to the number 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.